I've been asking myself what it means to be Scottish for so long. I might not look Scottish, I might not have long hair and fight for freedom in a kilt, but I was born here, I live here, I am Scottish. When you think of what that means, you might think of that William Wallace freedom fighter, you might think of a emotional, romantic way of being, much like the Italians. I think if you take the romance out of it, what's the point? But being Scottish is a complex way of being, it's a complex identity. I read a book called The Scots Crisis of Confidence, and it struck a tone with me because I feel that many of the themes raised in that book are not talked about, or at least are at the top of my mind as I go through life. There's a narrative emerging about what it's like living in Scotland and what it's like for people that want to be different or want to stick out or want to try and succeed. And that narrative surrounds the phrase tall poppy syndrome. I think there's an extent to which that does exist. I think whilst I'm not religious, there are clear Presbyterian roots in how we are as a society. We value greatly the attributes of being humble about your accomplishments. We have great inventors in our past and we will continue to have them, but the approach to that and how you manage that sort of acclaim or that sort of ability to join the world stage is a very important one. The tone is a very important one. I think there is an extent to which if you try and stick out or promote yourself or show how different you are, that you will be motivated through what can be sometimes quite critical means to return to what the traditional identity of someone from Scotland is. And what is that? Well, if you look back on our history, I mean, there's a sort of strange quasi-colonial relationship that we have with England, and I don't think that that's really at the top of anyone's mind anymore. But when in that book they discuss the crisis of confidence, you can't ignore the history. There are parts of me that feel like being Scottish connotes something that's downtrodden, something that was taken over, something that was stolen. It goes back to that William Wallace idea of fighting for freedom. But I'm not sure that I identify with that mentality, that feeling that because I'm from here, I'm somehow a victim of some great injustice. Yes, there is a strong sense of social justice here, a strong sense of egalitarianism, but those things are not unique to Scotland. And that's where the struggle started. I found that so many of the traits that I identified with being Scottish were actually not Scottish at all. They were around the world, everywhere that you could look and see. Perhaps there's an argument that Scotland had its influence on the world then, and that our diaspora, whilst not in kilts and fighting for freedom, has influenced the world. I don't know if that's the case. But I see our identity as very much blended with the identities of others, perhaps. I mean, it's not a sort of Lego process where you build an identity out of various bricks, but there are constituent parts to our national identity that I see across the world. And there, I'm thinking about that Italian romanticism again that we have. I mean, what's the point? You take it all out, what's the point? I'm at a stage where that feeling of what it means to be Scottish and those sometimes quite critical, quite negative connotations, I feel that they don't serve me anymore. I feel that they don't serve us anymore. I feel like it's time to move past them however we can. I don't feel like I want to be, I don't feel like I want my identity to be intertwined with the feeling of being second best and feeling the need to make myself small. I don't think that's who we are. Perhaps some of us believe it, but I don't think it serves us anymore. Sorry, I was interrupted by someone making their way towards a party. I feel that cutting through those concepts that I've just talked about, and they're by no means the exhaustive list of what it means to be Scottish, but cutting through those concepts, when you have conversation with someone about those potentially negative connotations, you run into this approach of, oh, well they say we're this and they say we're that and they don't fix this and they're controlling us or they're in power or they're not us, they're somehow different. It's them and then it's us. It's an adversarial way of being. I don't think that serves us. I mean, there are times where our interests compete, but I don't think that serves who we're trying to be, because I think it is who we are trying to be. It's we, it's not they, it's not why do they not fix that, it's why do we not fix that? Why do we not insist that it is fixed? Why do we not fix it ourselves? I think part of the identity and part of identifying with being some sort of victim takes away your ability to have agency in any process where you want to see change. I mean, an easy example is if you see a pothole on the road and you say, oh, they should have fixed that, they should have done something about that. Well, why is it not we? I mean, why did we not insist on someone doing something about that? I mean, yeah, it's the council's job, but why did we not insist that that changes? Why do we not write more? Why do we not make more of a fuss about it? I mean, that's a small one-off issue, but it goes to the very top. If we want to be something else, then it starts with each one of us, because it's we, it's not us against them, it's not they have control over us, it's us. I think those parts of our identity that are so romantic and are so brave and courageous and inventive that lead, I think it's time for those attributes that are not exclusive to us to come to the fore of our identity. So what do I think it means to be Scottish? I think it means it's time to change. I think it means it's time to use those feelings of injustice or social justice or egalitarianism or our great inventive spirit to make the change that we want to see. I think it's time we stop pretending like we're some victim, like we're somehow second best. I think we can do that together.